Ajay. My name is Madhur Kathuria, and I'm going to be your co-host for today. So today we are going to be talking about a few things about how we can demystify and what we need to talk about when we talk about agility. So I'm sure we have professionals from the learning and development community who have been a part of this webinar. Just to set a few rules before we go forward, I have put all of you on mute. So in case you have any questions, on your screen, on the control panel, you'll see the questions tab. So do put your question there and I will answer them as we go along. In case there are any specific questions that might not be answered, we will answer them towards the end of the webinar. So today we are going to be discussing about a few very basics of agility for those of you who are unaware of what being agile or agile methods really mean. We will quickly talk about various agile methods and we will discuss about various agile certifications which are available in the market so that when you work with your colleagues, when you work with your employees, you are well aware of the availability of each of these certifications, which are the target audience for these certifications and trainings, and how they can be helpful to each of your colleagues and employees. So this is something that we are going to be discussing in detail. So going forward, just to introduce, my name is Madhur Kathuria, as I earlier mentioned, and I'm a certified Scrum trainer and certified Scrum coach from Scrum Alliance, and I have been working as an enterprise agile coach for various customers. So that was a quick and short introduction. So let's quickly talk about what is agile. Now, one of the biggest myths that I have seen in the industry is that agile is a methodology, it's a process. So agile is not a process. Neither it is a framework. So it is not a process or a framework. Rather, it is a philosophy. So what is the difference between a process and a framework and a philosophy? Now, process and frameworks typically give you a set of guidelines and a set of rules which will help you work on a particular project or a particular problem to be solved. Whereas when we talk about philosophy gives you certain guiding values and principles on which you can base your thinking process and thought process. So agile philosophy is focusing on certain values and principles which all agile teams need to follow. The typical example that I have been giving here is when we want to compare and try to get something what a philosophy really means. Think about a religion. Now, a religion represents certain values and principles which every practitioner has to follow. Now, and then there are certain rituals and practices which every practitioner might have to follow. For example, if I'm Hindu, I might go to a Balaji temple or a Maruti temple or to Vaishno Devi temple as the case might be. But if you would notice, across different regions, across different cities, even within the same family, even though the core values and principles remain the same, the practices might be followed totally differently. The rituals might be followed totally differently. A case in the point being, for example, when we come to north of India, we celebrate Holi very fervently. But if you go to south of India, we have the Pongal and other festivals which are celebrated. Those still are all Hindu festivals. So this is where the difference lies when we talk about a philosophy versus a framework. And similar way, when we talk about the agile philosophy, the underlying values and principles remain across organizations, across different teams, across geographies, they remain the same. But the practices and rituals that you might have, they will be very different across an organization. Because no two teams are same, no two customers are same, no two projects are same. That means the practices that they use, the different agile practices that they use can also be different and varied. So this is the first thing that we need to understand, right? So now a question that has come from one of the participants is, and in fact there are quite a few questions that I'll quickly try to answer before we go forward. So question which has come from Mr. Tiwari is how to make this change management seamless and accepted by typical stakeholders. Now, so I would, because this is very related to the philosophy part that we were talking about. One thing that we need to understand and accept is because Agile is a philosophy, one suit will not fit all. So we will need to find out the right value that you have for each of the stakeholders. So what each stakeholder is looking for, this is something that you need to first find out. Once you have been able to find out that, then you will be able to see how we apply Agile principles and Agile philosophy in those particular areas. So this is something as the first step when we talk about agility. Now, as learning and development professionals also, it is very important for you also to understand what is the basic need of your business units of your organization, right? Why do they want to work on agile methods? Is it about better time to market? Is it about because the customer is saying so? Is it because of the quality that we are looking for? So based on this, the implementation and adoption of different practices may actually vary. So you need to first baseline what you want to achieve and then identify the business value which each of the stakeholders is looking for. If you are able to match those values across different levels of stakeholders, only then you will be able to have a seamless transition. So I hope that answers your question, sir. One more thing that we need to understand about all the agile methods that I'm going to shortly talk about, that when we talk about agility, these methods or frameworks are essentially iterative. That means teams will start working in smaller cycles, teams will start delivering their work in smaller cycles. But it is not necessarily that if somebody has been working in an iterative method, they are really agile. So that's one of the key differentiators between iterative methods and agile methods. Now, coming back to different methodologies and frameworks which are available, which the teams can use, you would see on the slide there are a host of methodologies which are available. For example, Scrum, which is one of the most used ones, Kanban, which is one of the most misunderstood ones, and then we have the extreme programming, DSDM, large scale Scrum. So methodologies and frameworks are being added almost every week to the market. So a lot of organizations are coming with their own brand new methodologies, depending on the area of work, depending on their experiences. So we need to be identify which methodologies will be helpful for your team. So what I've done is I've done a small classification. Obviously, this is not a complete list of methodologies and frameworks available on where each of these methodologies and frameworks apply. So for example, if you talk about project management and the challenge areas for your teams lie in project management, then you have Scrum, then you have DAD or the Disciplined Agile Delivery, and then you have Agile Unified Process. So these are some of the methodologies and frameworks which focus on project management and team management. But if you have multiple teams, if you have your stakeholders are handling multiple teams, multiple projects at a time, that would mean you need to go to different methodologies. For example, Scaled Agile Framework or SAFe, Nexus, which is a new framework from Scrum.org, then LESS, and many other methodologies. So these are different methodologies which are available to you to be able to choose from. Oops, let me quickly go back. When we talk about flow management and tracking and tracing, where the flow of the progress of the project is, then you can use Kanban and Battlefield Agility. If the challenge areas lie in the area of unique practices, how to get better design, how to get better coding, how to get better requirements, then we focus on extreme programming and agile modeling. So this is how we can classify each of the frameworks which are now available in the market into different segments. And when you are when your team is guiding you, okay, what do we do and which methodology which we should work with, you can use this broad level classification, which is typically available with all the methodologies, to see whether it might be useful for a particular colleague or it may not be useful for a particular colleague. So Santosh has a request that we talk about the engineering practices once more. Now, engineering practices typically, if you want to have a better design, if you want to have a better requirements, if you want to have better coding, then you can use practices from extreme programming and agile modeling. So primary practices from extreme programming and agile modeling help you have better engineering. That means better design, better coding, better architecture, as the case might be. And obviously, as I said earlier, this is just a very small subset of methodology which is available. Now, these methodologies are not just for your product companies. When you talk about any project, any delivery, so all these methodologies apply anywhere. Okay. So Puran has a question here. Puran says that when we talk about Kanban, Kanban is typically not a time box activity. And same with the battlefield agility. So I do agree, Puran. Kanban and battlefield agility, because they more focus on flow and they focus on feature delivery. Say they do not focus on time boxing. Whereas Scrum and JAG, say they are all time box methodologies. So this is the difference between various methodologies. Obviously, we will not be able to cover each and every methodology in detail here, but we'll just be covering an overview of these different methodologies. Let's go forward then. Now, based on these methodologies, there are various certifications available in the market, which the professionals can go through. Now, each of these are promoted by different organizations. So I will quickly talk about these organizations first, and then we will come to these different levels that you see, and I'll probably go into details of each of these methodologies. Now, when we talk about Scrum, the main organization which has been delivering Scrum trainings and which is responsible for a lot of certified professionals around the world is Scrum Alliance. So Scrum Alliance is de facto the market leader in terms of Scrum certifications, with close to 425,000 certified professionals and associates working with Scrum. Then you have another body called Scrum.org, which is a smaller body which was initiated 3 years back, but they have their own set of certifications. Then you have bodies like PMI. So PMI also has now started offering certifications on Agile, which is called PMI Agile Certified Practitioner. Then you have, for example, even Prince2 Foundation. They have also come up with their own certification now, which is called as the Prince2 Agile. Then we have bodies like IC Agile, International Consortium of Agile, which is again having multitudes of certifications, about 21 certifications across different levels. Then you have the Agile Testing Alliance, which is more focused on the testing certifications. We have the Lean Kanban University, which is more focused on Kanban certifications. And then we have the Open Space Agility Community, which is more focused on Agile transformation related certifications. So these are various bodies which are providing certifications across the globe. And then a lot of organizations have their own courses or programs which they might also be running. But my advice to you as an L&D professional would be to typically go ahead, not just looking at the pricing, but the availability in the market and acceptability in the market of a particular certification. Because a lot of organizations that I have seen in the market, for example, Scrum Study, now they have been offering certifications probably online, which just test your knowledge in a half an hour or 1 hour test session, which may not give you a good idea about whether your professional has really gained the certification or not. So Scrum Study, then we have the Scrum International and online certification providers also available. So my recommendation would be to choose the right set of certifications which have some market value, which organizations are typically looking for. So for example, when we come to Scrum Alliance certifications are the most sought after in today's world. Similarly, when we come to Scaled Agile Academy, the SAFe certifications are used for large scale programs, so they are also most sought after. And there are a whole lot of other institutes and organizations providing certifications. Now, I will quickly go through some details of these methodologies and where do they fit. So some of these are classroom sessions that you can take, and some of these are basically certifications which are more based on experience. So in next 15 to 20 minutes, I'm going to be going through all of these certifications in detail that you see. First, we'll start with something for the product owners or business analysts or product managers. Now, there are two different certifications which are primarily available and valid that I have seen in the industry. The first one comes from Scrum Alliance, which is the Certified Scrum Product Owner. Now, it is a 2-day classroom session which is led by a certified Scrum trainer from Scrum Alliance. Now, to achieve the certification, it is mandatory for the participants to attend the 2-day class, and then they are certified as CSPO. Similar to that, Scrum.org has also a certification called as the Professional Scrum Product Owner Certification. Okay. So you can take CSPO from Scrum Alliance and PSPO from Scrum.org. So there's a typo there. Sorry about that. Saurabh in fact has a question. How about ScrumStudy.com? And yes, everything looks good, but the acceptability in the market and the methodology that they use, or the very basis of the education that they use, that has always been under doubt. So it will be up to you as a career path if you want to choose that. But be careful about the wordings and the base knowledge that they are providing. Because when it comes to Scrum, there is only one universally accepted book or the guide, which is the Scrum Guide. So if any certification is not based on the Scrum Guide, that means it may not be you may not be getting the right knowledge or the right education. So while you evaluate these, any Scrum courses, make sure they're aligned to the Scrum Guide and not any other body of knowledge or any other book. Now, for managers, Scrum Masters and leads, or those who want to build a career as a manager, as a Scrum Master, there are lots of certifications available. For example, from Scrum Alliance, you have the Certified Scrum Master. Again, a 2-day classroom session. Some of you have already gone through it. A 2-day certification from a Certified Scrum Trainer. And then you have to give a small exam, and then you are certified as a certified Scrum Master. Similarly, from Scrum.org, you have the PSM, Professional Scrum Master, which is done in 2 parts. Professional Scrum Master 1 is basically simply an online exam that you can take, whereas Professional Scrum Master 2 or PSM 2 is a 2-day classroom session again led by a professional Scrum trainer. Now, PMI-ACP comes from the Project Management Institute, so it stands for the Agile Certified Practitioner. Now, to do that, you need to be able to take the exam for PMI-ACP, you need to gain 24 hours of Agile Professional Development Units. Okay. So you need to pick up those, and maybe from another PMI-ACP, you can take an online or a classroom class, and then you can go for a exam based on the courseware. Yes, it is a little bit more heavier and more tougher than the typical CSM exam and study, so be careful on that. Now, from the Scaled Agile Academy, the body which runs the Scaled Agile framework, you will get Safe Agilist certification, which is again a 2-day course focused on the basics of agility and basics of Safe and Scrum. Right? There's a question that I want to answer from Sanjot here, that to get the CSM certification, is it mandatory to attend the 2 days workshop? Yes, Sanjot. To get a CSM certification, you have to mandatorily attend a 2-day classroom session by a certified Scrum trainer, and then take the exam. Only alternate way, if you are being coached by a certified Scrum coach and he or she recommends you for the CSM certification. So certified Scrum coaches can currently recommend about 20 CSMs in a whole year. So those are the 2 ways through which you can get your CSM certification. Coming back, there are more certifications available from Scaled Agile Academy. So Safe Agilist, Safe Program Project Manager, Safe X3 and Safe XP. These are various certifications available from Scaled Agile framework. Now, once you have done those basic certifications, you can also go for Certified Scrum Professional. Now, Certified Scrum Professional is from Scrum Alliance. So now you don't need to take any classroom session for Certified Scrum Professional. Rather, you need to showcase 36 months of experience with Scrum. As also, you need to earn 70 Scrum education units. And these you can earn through various activities like participating in other agile trainings, conferences, as the case might be. So when you go to scrumalliance.org website, you will find those categories where you can earn your Scrum education units. These are very similar to the PDUs that PMI gives you. So these are different certifications available for managers and Scrum Masters. Now for developers, there are little lesser certifications available because most of them are, a lot of courses are available but they are not certified. So the first one comes from Scrum Alliance, Certified Scrum Developer. Now typically it is a 5-day course if you have not had any other Agile Scrum Alliance certification. So the first 2 days are basics of Agile, 2 days of engineering practices or software craftsmanship, and 1 day of Agile testing. So this is total 5 days you need to spend for a Certified Scrum Developer. But if you have already taken a CSM or a CSPO class, you can directly take the next 3 days. A question comes from Prajit. Will this webinar qualify for SEUs? Yes, Prajit, you can earn SEUs for this webinar also. Now coming back for the developers track, similar to the Certified Scrum Developer from Scrum Alliance, Scrum.org offers the Professional Scrum Developer track, where in 2 days you focus more on software craftsmanship. So that is the certification that you can take. Now, IC Agile is another body which has been offering a lot of Agile certifications, International Consortium of Agile. So they have 2 different certifications for developers. One is focusing on software design, and the second one is focused on Agile programming. Now, these are both 2-day programs which are delivered by IC Agile professionals, and I say the certified education providers, so you can go through that. Now for testers again, there are few certifications available that you can go through. For example, we have something called the Agile Testing Alliance, which is a body for Agile testing. They offer 3 different certifications: Certified Professional on Basic Agile Testing, Master Agile Testing, and Automation Agile Testing. Again, these are given by qualified HR trainers, and you can take those 2-day classes and then get certified. Similar to this, IC Agile also has a test automation training which you can use. Sorry for missing that question. Now to go to a certified Scrum trainer part, we are going to be discussing this when I come to the coaches and trainers part. So we will discuss about the CST part there quickly. So just hold on to that question. Ramesh also has another question. Will this session qualify for PDUs? Yes, you can use it as your professional learning also for PDUs and claim it in CCRS. Now coming back to our certifications. Now for service management and infrastructure related parts, there are typically Kanban and Battlefield Agility are the methods which are used. So from Value Innova, you have a 2-day class which is called a Certified Kanban Methodologist. Then from the Lean Kanban University, you have Kanban Introductory Sessions and Kanban Professional 1 and 2. So these are the different certifications you can take from the Lean Kanban University. And then from our own organization, you can also take the Battlefield Agility Foundation certification, which is more focused on Battlefield Agility. Now, so these are various certifications which are available for those specific roles. Then there are a lot of other certifications which are also available which are more generic. For example, if you go to the right hand bottom of this slide, you would see the Scaled Professional Scrum certification, which again comes from scrum.org. Then you have the Professional Scrum Foundation, again coming from scrum.org. IC Agile Certified Professional from IC Agile. Now, if you have been a coach and then you can also go for the Open Space Agility Foundation, which comes from the Open Space Academy. And again from SAFe, the Scaled Agile Framework Academy, you can go for the SAFe Program Consultant. So these are some generic and coaching related trainings. Now coming back to the specific trainings for trainers and coaches. Now Scrum Alliance again provides three different certifications. You have the Certified Team Coach, Certified Enterprise Coach, and then the Certified Scrum Trainer. Now for the first two, Certified Team Coach and Enterprise Coach, you need to showcase your experience as a coach. So at least 2,000 hours of coaching experience, and then recommendations from various customers are required, and there's a small application form that you need to fill to be qualified as a Scrum and Certified Coach. Now coming back to what Saurabh was also asking, that I want to go to the Certified Scrum Trainer certification. Now Certified Scrum Trainer certification involves few parts and few prerequisites. First, you need to be a Certified Scrum Professional, CSP, and once you have been able to do that, then after 1 year you can apply to be a Certified Scrum Trainer. Now in between your Certified Scrum Professional and Trainer, you need to showcase your training experience, that you have trained at least 100 professionals on Scrum. You need to get feedback from at least 5 of them. You need to be, though not mandatorily, co-training with 3 to 4 Certified Scrum Trainers. And then you will need to submit your material and case studies as well as recommendations to Scrum Alliance for scrutiny. And you might be asked for an interview by fellow Certified Scrum Trainers. So these are the paths that are there for the Certified Scrum Trainer. Another question which Saurabh has here is for SPC, do you scale the SAFe Program Consultant, does it also have a path? No, for a SAFe Program Consultant, it does not have a path. You can directly take a class for SPC from a SAFe Program Consultant Trainer, SPCT. These do rarely in India, 2 to 3 classes in a year, but you can directly go through that. Now similar to this, again, different other bodies have also certifications. For example, IC Agile has their IC Agile coaching and IC Agile master certifications, which you can also take. Then from the Lean Kanban University, you are the Kanban coaching professional and the Lean Kanban University accredited Kanban trainer. So these are various certifications which are now available in the market. Again, this is just a limited list. There are many more certification even from these bodies available. So you can go through this, and in case your associates want to go through them, I would still recommend that you do check why do they want to do it. That is something which is very important, because sometimes what I have seen, for example, in my CSM classes, I would have somebody who is more focused on service industry and more focused on, for example, product management, but they would be typically forced, or by chance they come into the CSM part also. There is a CSP or Kanban certification maybe more useful for them. So do use these guides and so on to be able to go forward with that. So Saurabh, your question regarding coach training, please do write to me offline and then we can discuss. I will not be able to answer it here. Santosh has another question regarding the years of experience and market expectations for agile trainers and coaches. Now there is, from a market perspective, there is no expectation per se, but each of these certifications that are mentioned, they have their own set of guidelines and prerequisites before you can get certified. So I would recommend that you go through their respective websites and then be able to go through their prerequisites and then connect to the relevant people within the staff of these organizations to get more details. So these are all the certifications that may be useful for L&D professionals when they are deciding on their budgets, as well as what is more useful for their specific associates and employees. So please do go through these websites, my recommendation would be, and then choose the right one. Now, what if you still have a problem and you're still stuck? So best possible way, as I said, is now a lot of us L&D professionals are connected to various service providers. My recommendation would be to go directly to the websites of these organizations and then be able to get in touch with them and study some of that and then be able to choose, because those are the best possible places to know about those certifications. Now, if you have any other questions, so no worries, you can write back to me. You can write back to us if you have any questions. We might be of uh, any help. You can just write to trainings at ajiveta.com. And one more email ID I'm going to show it at the end of this. As the slide rightly says, which practices we may choose. So I would rather say do leave it back to your business units, projects, and teams on what works more for them, rather than at an org level pushing for certain certifications and trainings. Because as I said earlier, one suit doesn't fit all. So you might have, as an L&D person, you might have tough time in choosing the right one for you. But I think the business units and teams are a more better place to decide what they really need. So I would recommend that you work with them to find out what are the most recognized and most needed certifications. So I believe that was the last slide that I had. If you have any questions, as I said earlier, do write to us on our email ID, trainings@ajiveta.com and info@ajiveta.com, and we would be very happy to help you. So with that, I would like to say goodbye. In case anyone has any questions, I might take 5 minutes to answer any last minute questions. Okay, so I don't see any on my screen. So I would like to say thank you and have a very nice evening and a wonderful week ahead. Yes, Saurabh, so that's correct. Uh, Good. Just before we close, I'm not sure everybody has gone. So Santosh just reminded me that we do have an upcoming conference in Bangalore, the Global Scrum Gathering. So in case you want to be a part of it and learn more about the agile practices and your associates and colleagues want to be a part of it, so please do register for that. Go to Scrum Alliance and search for Global Scrum Gathering Bangalore. You will be able to gain much more information, and the associates also will be able to gain a lot of things from peers and practitioners and various speakers which are coming in. So with that, I'd like to say thank you and have a goodbye. To answer some of the last questions, the recording of this webinar will be available shortly on our YouTube channel, Ajiveta YouTube channel. So earlier also this question was asked. So do expect a mail from our team for the recording of this webinar and the PPT. So thank you very much. Have a nice day ahead, and I hope we catch sometime soon. Bye bye.